In a time long before concrete roads, long before electric lights reached the ends of the earth, there was a village hidden between the winding bends of the river Olu and the shadowed slopes of the Obudu hills. The villagers of this place, known as Idu, were known across the region not for wealth or war, but for their music. Their drums could speak across valleys, tell stories at night, and summon spirits when the air grew heavy with silence. And in that village, born of humble soil and ancestral rhythm, lived a boy named Anayo. Anayo wasn't a child who filled rooms with noise. He was quiet, but not timid. He listened to the trees, to the whispers of cooking fires, to the tap-tap of lizards on rooftops, and above all, to the steady rhythm of his grandfather's hands on the leather face of a sacred drum. His grandfather, Baba Ojin, was the most respected drummer in the entire Southeast. People traveled for days just to sit under the large Iroko tree at the center of the village and hear him play. But Baba Ojin wasn't just a drummer. He was the last living keeper of the talking drum spirit language. He often told Anayo, "The drum is not noise, my son. It's a tongue older than words. If you respect it, it will open doors that even your eyes cannot see." From the time Anayo could walk, Baba Ojin began teaching him not just how to hit the drum, but how to understand it, the importance of silence, the breath between beats, the patience it takes to truly listen before playing. After the last rooster had crowed and the smoke of cooking fires curled into the dusky sky, every evening, Anayo would sit by his grandfather and learn. He learned not only the rhythms of the people, celebration beats, morning chants, war cries, but the hidden tones, the ones that were said to summon the attention of ancestors, the ones that could heal a broken spirit, call a restless one to rest. But Anayo's childhood was not meant to last. When he was just 13, Baba Ojin passed away peacefully during Harmattan season. There was no pain, no struggle, only a final breath, a nod toward the drum, and silence. That night, the drum lay quiet, and so did the village. But something had been passed on. Time passed. Anayo, now a young man, was often seen sitting beneath the same Iroko tree, practicing alone with the drum. His rhythms were soft, introspective, sometimes even strange. Some villagers began to murmur. "It's not like Baba Ojene," they whispered. "The old man taught the world. This boy plays only for the wind." But then came the drought. It began subtly, late rains, dry wells, wilting leaves. But soon, the river Olu had shrunk to a narrow thread of brown water. Chickens stopped laying. Goats bleated at empty troughs. Even the yam harvest, always reliable, failed. It was as if the land had stopped listening. The villagers brought offerings. They burned herbs. They danced. Nothing changed. Desperate, the region's king, Oba Enyi, issued a royal decree. During the upcoming festival of Udu, traditionally held to honor the gods of the harvest, there would be a sacred challenge. Whosoever can summon rain through the power of the drum shall receive land, gold, and the hand of Princess Nena, daughter of the throne. Princess Nena was not like the soft-veiled maidens in tales. She was bold, sharp-eyed, and deeply beloved. She walked barefoot among the people, visited markets without guards, and spoke freely in the king's court. She had already turned down 7 suitors, warriors, nobles, and even a foreign prince. She once told her handmaiden, "Let them come with riches. I want someone who listens, not just to me, but to the earth beneath her feet." And so the challenge was set. The festival of Udu that year did not come with song or food. The people were tired. Those clung to their garments. Yet, drummers arrived from far and wide. One came with golden rings on his fingers and claimed to summon monsoons. Another said his drum was carved from a thunder tree. They played with fury. They played until their fingers bled, but the sky remained silent. Then, as the sun began to set behind the Obudu hills and the crowd began to thin with disappointment, Anayo stepped forward. He was barefoot. His clothes were plain. He carried his grandfather's old drum, worn at the edges. The elder scoffed. Now, a boy with that ancient thing? But the king, perhaps stirred by something unspoken, raised his hand, let the boy play. Anayo sat. He didn't look at the crowd, didn't speak. He rested the drum on his knees and placed one hand on the rim, as if greeting an old friend, and then he played. Not a rhythm of power, not a performance. It was a memory. A lullaby Baba Ojin once played during a village funeral. Soft, reverent, almost mournful. The crowd was stunned. Some turned away, confused. And then the wind shifted. A cloud moved, and a drop of rain fell. Then another, and another. Suddenly thunder rumbled. The skies broke open. Rain poured. The village erupted into cheers. Women wept. Children danced in the mud. The king stood in awe, but the high priest, standing close to the shrine, watched Anayo carefully and muttered beneath his breath, "This boy did not just summon rain. He has disturbed something deeper." That night, while others danced and feasted, Anayo sat alone by the now rushing river. He felt unsettled. The drum felt heavier. The next day, the rain did not stop, nor the next. By the third night, the river had overflown. Livestock drowned. Homes near the river were swept away. The grateful murmurs turned to anxious whispers. That night, Anayo dreamt. Baba Ogin stood at the edge of a vast forest. "You opened a door, child," he said softly. "But you used the drum of the underworld. Its rhythm was not meant for mortals. Now the spirits demand balance." Anayo awoke to find the drum vibrating on its own. He knew what he had to do. Before dawn, Anayo packed only his drum, a small flask of water, and a kola nut for blessing. He told no one, not even the king, not even the princess. The drum led him east, into the untouched forest where no man dared tread alone, and thus began the trials. As the sun disappeared behind the tall canopy, Anayo stepped into the forbidden forest, guided only by the soft pull of the drum's vibrations. A deep silence blanketed the trees. Even insects did not dare sing here. Not long after he entered, a strange thing happened. All sound vanished completely. Not even the rustle of leaves or the breath of wind remained. Then, without warning, he heard drumming, but it wasn't his. It was the sound of his own past rhythms, played back to him, but twisted. The notes were angry, chaotic, wrong. From behind the trees, figures emerged, identical to Anayo. Their faces were his, but their eyes were hollow. Each one carried a drum, and together they played versions of his songs, louder, harsher, corrupted. The noise was deafening. It pounded in his ears, filled his chest, made his vision blur. Anayo dropped to his knees, clutching his head. The mimic spirits circled him, laughing in rhythms, their sound aimed not at his ears, but his mind. Then a voice echoed in his memory, his grandfather's calm whisper. When spirits twist your truth, don't fight the noise. Tap into your center. Find your heart's rhythm. With trembling fingers, Anayo touched his drum. He didn't strike it hard. He tapped it like a heartbeat. Slow, steady. Do-dum, do-dum. The noise around him faltered. He closed his eyes and focused on that single beat. One by one, the mimic spirits paused. Their drums quieted. Their bodies turned to mist and disappeared, carried away by a gentle wind that had returned. The silence lifted. The forest sighed, and the path ahead revealed itself. The trail led him to a glowing river. Its waters shimmered like moonlight and flowed backward. The surface was unnaturally still, like a mirror. As Anayo approached, he saw scenes from his life ripple across the water. His mother roasting plantains, his grandfather teaching him, the villagers mocking him gently during his early drum practices. Then, something else. He saw a moment he tried to forget, a time when a hungry traveler had approached him as a boy, asking for yam peels. Anayo had looked away and kept eating, pretending not to hear. The river whispered, "To go forward, you must forgive the child in the water and feed the ghost of your regret." Anayo felt shame rise in his chest. He sat beside the river, placed his drum before him, and began to play, not for power, but for repentance. A rhythm of sorrow, a rhythm that said, "I remember, I'm sorry." As the last note faded, the river turned from silver to gold. An old man, hunched and with eyes like river stones, stepped out of the reeds playing a flute. "You may pass," he said softly. "But remember, child, truth without humility is thunder without rain." Anayo bowed, wiped his tears, and stepped through the water. It parted beneath him. After many hours of walking, Anayo arrived at a barren hilltop. No trees, no shade. The air was dry. The earth cracked. He sat and placed his drum before him. The sky above was white hot. He struck the drum once. Nothing. He hit harder. Still, silence. He screamed in frustration, beat the drum with all his strength until the leather cracked. But not a single sound came. Then, silence spoke, not with words, but with a knowing. Anayo understood. The drum wasn't meant to speak here. He was, not with words, but by listening. He sat cross-legged, closed his eyes, slowed his breathing, and in the stillness, he heard it, his own heartbeat. Then, a single note, not from his hands, but from the drum itself, a low hum, like wind passing through an ancient cave, a tone, not a beat, then a second hum, and finally a voice, calm, deep, and eternal. "You have learned the truth. Rhythm is not domination. Rhythm is communion. You are now a keeper, not a master. The cracked earth at his feet bloomed with grass. Flowers opened. A breeze danced through the air again. The drum glowed faintly in gold. The trial was complete. After 7 days, Anayo returned to Idu. His skin was darker from the sun, his feet raw from walking, but his eyes burned with quiet power. The village was in mourning. The rain had stopped, but it had taken much with it. Crops, homes, even a few lives. Many had assumed Anayo had vanished, drowned or taken by spirits. But when he walked into the village square, carrying the glowing drum, the air shifted. The high priest gasped and fell to his knees. Princess Nena ran to him and touched his arm, tears rising. Anayo did not speak. He sat beneath the Iroko tree and played a single warm rhythm, one of gratitude, of new beginnings. The river calmed. Birds returned to the skies. The smell of wet earth turned fresh. King Oba Enyi stood before the people and raised his staff. You saved this land, not with might, but with listening. You deserve the reward promised, gold, land, and the hand of my daughter. The crowd cheered, but Anayo shook his head gently. I am honored, my king, he said, but I do not seek a crown or coin. I ask for only one gift. Let me teach the children. Let the drum's language never be forgotten again. There was a pause, then roaring applause. Even the king smiled, eyes glistening. From that day on, Anayo became the drum keeper of Idu. Children from villages far and near came to learn, not just beats, but the meaning behind them, the patience, the stories, the silence. Princess Nena visited often, sitting in the back of his lessons, smiling, and the sacred drum, worn and glowing faintly, was no longer just an instrument. It was a bridge between worlds. Years passed. Anayo aged, but never slowed. He taught until his hands were too tired to lift. On the day he died, the sky did not cry with thunder. It wept softly with drizzle, falling in perfect rhythm against the rooftops, as if the sky itself tapped out a lullaby. Villagers said the rain that day sounded like a heartbeat, and children who had learned from him all gathered under the Iroko tree, drums on their laps, playing one final song of thanks.